Previously, after being reincarnated as a vending machine, Boxo has truly made himself at home in this new world. All of his companions view him with respect and admiration, as he has managed to save them from multiple dangerous situations. However, his strong bond with Lammis makes him wonder if it would be better for him to be a human, rather than a vending machine. When the earth gives way from beneath him, Boxo's weight makes it almost impossible for him to slow himself down as he descends rapidly. Remembering that he has special abilities, he switches his form to one of a balloon cart and starts blowing up helium balloons. However, he is still quite heavy and has no choice but to transform into a cardboard vending machine, which helps to steady his drop. Soon Boxo nears the ground and is able to discern a labyrinth below him. At first, he is unable to recognize his surroundings, but then remembers that Holomie had mentioned the presence of a huge labyrinth below Clearflow Lake stratum. The area is deserted with no signs of life around him. When Boxo lands, his first act is to use his huge number of points to level up. As a result, all of his abilities increase, and he also unlocks some new skills. Noticing a rare 8-legged crocodile coin in front of him, Boxo turns into a vacuum cleaner and uses the suction to take in the coin. He had been hopeful that such a precious item would grant him a special reward, but it seems to just be a token of his fight against the beast. Time passes by without any visitors, but Boxo does not seem to be worried in the least. Having set up solar panels, he is able to keep up his points tally while just standing around under the sun. However, his rest is disturbed by the appearance of a group of Tasmanian devils who are being chased by mutant hogs. The cuteness of the dog-bear hybrids catches the attention of our protagonist, and he sets up a barrier between them and the hogs in an attempt to rescue the tiny creatures. The hogs are taken aback at this form of alien barricade and instantly turn around and retreat. The miniature Tasmanian devils are also surprised at their luck, but seem to be suspicious of Boxo. The vending machine tries to communicate with them using its fixed robotic lines, but this seems to scare the creatures even more. Recalling that they seem to have a huge appetite, Boxo presents them with some desserts. The leader is still skeptical of the food, but when he sees the rest of his team devouring the scrumptious delights, he joins in as well. In a matter of minutes, a bunch of empty boxes are piled up next to the vending machine. From their conversation, Boxo is able to get their names and the reason why they are here. Since their expenses are so high, they have traveled to this stratum in an attempt to earn some easy money. However, the vending machine is concerned when he overhears them scheming to sell him, and he sets up a force field around himself to establish that he does not agree with their plans. The appearance of the mutant hogs worries the Tasmanian devils, but Boxo once again comes to their rescue. However, an even more formidable foe shows up, in the form of a huge flaming skeleton known as the Skeleton. Not even Boxo stands a chance against it, so all of them flee for their lives while the enormous being devours the scorched bodies of the hogs. Once safe, our protagonist realizes that he seems to have a soft spot for his furry companions, and he aims to keep them safe from harm. When they are about to be attacked that night, Boxo, who is vigilant as ever, awakens them with his loud robotic voice. Their leader immediately deals with the threat and is grateful to the vending machine for his support. The next day, as fate would have it, the group runs into the menagerie of fools who are searching for Boxo. Lammis is unable to keep control of her emotions, and she embraces the machine with a crushing bear hug. Boxo is pleasantly surprised that his friends seem to be so worried about him. Even Director Bear has joined in the hunt for him. The Tasmanian devils are then thanked for their cooperation. The group eventually set up camp and rest after an exhausting day. Director Bear meets with Boxo and Lammis, who are deep in conversation. He reveals that their primary aim to travel to this sanctum was to find Boxo, but they also had another mission in mind. He explains that the Skeleton, which is known as the main threat in this sanctum, has begun to attack humans as well, and it is now the responsibility of the menagerie of fools to deal with it once and for all. Curioil, the leader of the group, jumps into the conversation to further tell his side of the plan. He explains that the labyrinth has a dungeon which, if conquered, allows the party to each make a wish of their choice. However, every one of the wishers needs to have a coin that drops from a stratum lord once it has been defeated. Boxo recalls the coin from the 8-legged crocodile and realizes how precious it is. So Curioil then requests for Boxo and Lammis' support. He assures the vending machine that his wish could then be used to turn him back to human, which he assumes is Boxo's dream. Although our protagonist has his doubts, he replies in the affirmative, and so does Lammis. Boxo's valuable contribution is seen from the start as he reveals a sky view of the labyrinth that he had taken while he had fallen through the stratum split. Through this, Director Bear is able to hatch a plan that would allow them to trick the Skeleton and defeat it. The next morning, he leads them to an area of the labyrinth, which opens down to a huge hole when a lot of people stand over it. Director Bear explains that they have to lead the skeleton into this trap as, even with all its height, it would not be able to get out of it. However, even if it is trapped, they still need to come up with a strategy to finish it off. One of the ideas is to fill the hole with lots of water, which would extinguish the flames of the creature and hopefully weaken it. This option bears no fruit as Boxo and the group spend days filling up the hole, but the water is soon absorbed by the ground. This is where our protagonist chimes in with a master plan of his own. Turning into an ice machine, he unleashes a huge amount of ice into the hole. The low temperatures inside of it would help to keep it from melting as well as deal with the flames of the skeleton. Meanwhile, Lamis senses that her companion has his mind on other things and that night asks him if he wishes to turn into a human. Boxo is already deep in thought about that issue, since he thinks that people only like him because he is of some use as a vending machine. Once he changes back to a human, he would lose his appeal and he would be alone once again. The machine does not give a definite reply to his companion. The next morning, the plan is in full motion as the skeleton makes its appearance. Catching sight of the group, it advances towards them, unnoticed that it has fallen right into their trap. One of the Tasmanian devils presses the button, and the skeleton falls through the hole and right into the ice. Such was the wit of Boxo that he had used dry ice which emits carbon dioxide. Since the flames are unable to keep burning without oxygen, they soon burn out and the creature is significantly weakened. Kirioel suggests that he goes into the hole to slay the monster, but Boxo takes matters into his own hands since he knows no human will be able to survive in the hole with no oxygen. He is thrown into the hole, and due to his durability, he crashes right through the skeleton, whose bones are flung in all directions. Victory for our protagonist as he also receives the precious coin for defeating the Stratum Lord. Kirioel, cunning as ever, buys it off Boxo and adds it to his collection. Once their mission is complete, the group travels to the Hunters Association in that stratum. Most of the areas are deserted since the majority of the stratum's population are hunters who explore the region for bounty hunting. Director Bear is greeted with respect as soon as he enters the building and the entire group are given accommodation there. The next morning, while the rest of the explorers return back to Clearflow Lake, Boxo, Lamis, and Holimi are left behind to survey the perimeter of the labyrinth. Lamis is left starstruck when she catches sight of an attractive male warrior who is asking for a map of the labyrinth from the front desk of the association. She is not the only one as even the female receptionists have hard eyes for the good-looking youth. Boxo also observes the warrior later that night, but he seems to be the exact opposite of the confident young man that everyone had seen in the morning. With everyone asleep, he comes outside of the building to loudly announce his fear of communicating. The warrior seems to fear any type of social interaction, and he begins to have a panic attack. Always to the rescue, Boxo lets out some sugary treats that the man feasts on and which helps to settle his nerves. The next day, Lamis reveals that the warrior would be accompanying them on their mission to explore the perimeter and that his name is Mishuel. Their team also comprises the Tasmanian Devils, whose sharp scent and sight would help them discern any danger. As the journey begins, Mishuel repeats the same response for every question that is asked of him. Even Boxo begins to feel awkward while listening to this poor excuse of a conversation. However, luck favors Mishuel as he is standing right behind Lamis when she passes out due to fatigue. The girl seems to have overworked herself and Holimi comes to her support in changing her clothes. Even Boxo tries to play his part by turning into a machine that provides sanitary pads, which would help relieve Lamis' discomfort. Mishuel's confidence seems to have skyrocketed as he feels proud of helping his comrade. He takes part in their campfire chats and even eats with them, instead of waiting until they all fall asleep. After days of traveling, the Tasmanian Devils announce the presence of some humans up ahead. Mishuel seems to instantly set up his barriers as if he recognizes that there is an upcoming threat. Lamis senses the warrior's panic and tries to assure him that they would support him, but he seems to be wary of involving them in his problems. Hulimi and Lamis try to convince him by explaining that Boxo's abilities would keep them safe. His doubts are eventually washed away when he attacks Boxo's impenetrable force field and realizes how strong the vending machine actually is. The group eventually come face to face with a team of bandits. The leader has a scored eye and announces that they have come for Mishuel's life. The rest of the bandits attack Mishuel's comrades, but Boxo improvises with soap and rinsing water, which confuses the assailants. In a matter of minutes, they are tied up and disarmed. Even Mishuel's opponent is weak as a single blow knocks him out. Now that the threat has been dealt with, Mishuel is thankful for their help and apologizes for involving them in his problems. He explains that it is better that he travels to another stratum since his foes would not stop following him, and he prefers to keep his companions away from danger. Lamis suggests that he should join the Menagerie of Fools, which seems like a good idea to the warrior. The end. For now.
Thanks for watching. If you like this recap, please consider to like and subscribe to the channel and ring the notification bell to be notified of any new recap. And while you're at it, check out this new recap appearing on the screen.